Ukraine just endured the largest drone attack since the start of the war. Nearly 500 Russian drones in a single night. The assault comes as Russia steps up its summer offensive, even as direct peace talks show few signs of progress. Joining us now from Kyiv is Scripps News international correspondent Jason Bellini. And Jason, what's the latest from where you are after this drone attack?
Hi, Holly. Well, this is a city that's still on edge. Here in Kyiv, air raid alerts, they lasted for over 10 hours. That's highly unusual. This country was already reeling after a massive Russian drone and missile attack on Ukraine's second largest city over the weekend. We're talking about Kharkiv, where at least 3 people were killed and others were injured. Around 20 is the latest estimate. And then there was last night's attack. Ukraine's Air Force says it intercepted 479 Russian drones and missiles overnight. That's the largest aerial attack of this war. Russia launched nearly 500 weapons in total. That includes drones, ballistic, and cruise missiles. Ukrainian officials say most were shot down or jammed by electronic warfare. Russia struck so far west that Poland announced that it had scrambled fighter jets, and Ukraine, it's not done either. Overnight, Ukrainian drones struck 2 military factories deep inside Russia in the city of Chenbaksary. Huge fires broke out at both sides. Ukraine says they were targeting places that help build Russian attack drones and smart bombs. It's part of a broader effort by Ukraine to go after the supply chain behind Russia's weapons, not just the weapons themselves, Holly.
And Jason, wasn't there supposed to be a prisoner exchange today? Is that still happening amidst of all of this?
The prisoner exchange, that's still in flux. It was supposed to happen actually over the weekend, and it ran into, as these things often do, snafus. And right now there are barbs being exchanged between Putin and Zelensky, both accusing one another of not acting in good faith. So whether that will actually materialize, and there are hundreds, if not thousands of families that are waiting to see, because when we've seen these prisoner exchanges before, the images of the people who've come back from Russia, they're haunting. You see signs of torture visible on people's bodies. We'll be keeping an eye on that today.
Okay, and Jason, what's the sentiment in Ukraine right now? Do people think that these massive nightly assaults might continue?
Well, the fear here is that what we've seen, these hundreds of drones and missiles every night in the last few nights, they might just be the prelude. And new reporting from Reuters last night, that just landed like a thud. They reported that U.S. officials believe the Kremlin hasn't even started to retaliate in earnest for Ukraine's strike last week on Russian bombers. That was Operation Spiderweb. Now, according to a Western diplomat, and this is a quote from Reuters, it will be huge, vicious, and unrelenting, Russia's attacks. Analysts now predict Russia is going to go after symbolic targets, according to Reuters, and that would include government buildings. And that's not something that we've seen in these 3 years of war. The government buildings all still stand. Holly?
An escalation when we were hoping maybe things would calm down a bit. Scripps News international correspondent Jason Bellini for us with that update. Thank you, Jason.